Feel free to get started.
Hi, I'll introduce. We're good.
Hello. How
Hello,
are
I'll
you?
introduce myself again. My name is Katia Woods. I'm with the Philadelphia Tribune out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Just we got the right Philadelphia. And it's my pleasure speaking with you both today. I have to say, Judge, when I heard you were going to do a reality show, I said, oh, but I like that we're getting to see a different side of you. You know, obviously in court, you have to be a little bit more stern and we get to see you be more serious. But here, we get to see what a great dad you are and a good husband and all of those things. What was the motivation of letting the cameras into your personal space?
Yeah, because I thought we had something to show. Many people that have families and might don't think it's a good idea to put them on camera because they may not have anything to show that matters. We felt that we had something to show the world that matters and provide an example for the Black community in particular, how they can both be a professional Black family, but indeed work in the community to use the skills and professional preparation we receive to make a difference, and our individual obstacles and issues like everyone else has. And so those are the things you don't see much on television. And so we thought we would. We see enough families, we believe, that are living destructive lives.
No, I agree with you. That's always been one of my things. I'm like, why is it that you always find just the crazy people? We know there are normal together people. One of the things I think is the most moving things I saw about this show is how you embrace your son who happens to be gay, which is so important because, you know, in our community, we still got a lot of work to do around embracing our brothers and sisters that are LGBTQIA. A lot of folks that are screaming Black Lives Matter, they don't mean them. And I love how understanding and how loving and open you guys are, and especially you, Judge, because I think we have this narrative that Black fathers don't love their Black gay sons, and you just crush all of that. Can you talk a little bit about your journey? Like, did you two have a discussion together on how to approach it? You know, was there some education that you guys did on your own?
Linda?
Oh, okay. She was asking you specifically about your father.
I'm sorry. She did ask father, son. But let me say this. We've known Greg was gay since high school.
18. Mm-hmm.
Age 18, right. Leaving high school. And so it wasn't a surprise to us. The question of how to handle it was never an issue either. That was up to him. And I've always been a fighter for equal justice, whether it's the African-American community. I worked in civil rights and politics, currently chairman of Rainbow Push and the Reverend Jackson's organization. And that's what I did for a living, fight for defense of any injustice. And as such, there's no better fight than for my son against injustice and discrimination. And so it was an easy, low-hanging fruit for me to engage this fight, and certainly whether to embrace my son's sexuality or not never came to mind. Never, not one time did it come to mind on whether I should. But I guess the love is so overwhelming. Perhaps if the love wasn't as overwhelming, maybe I would give it some thought, but I can't think through the love. How about that? And I can't think past the love.
And I think that is the example, right? This is still our son. He's not different than the other kids, you know what I mean? That type of thing. Linda, if I may ask, like the judge we know has been more out front. Now we've got cameras coming, we're getting to know you. What has this been like for you? Because it's a little different, you know, we know that you're his wife, but you've had the luxury of kind of like living your life in peace. And now you have the cameras and people getting to know you and people want to know more about you. What has this been like?
Well, let me stop you first before she answers. She hasn't lived her life in peace in 37 years. But go right ahead. The number of years we've been married.
Yeah, I'll just say, everything you mentioned is true. But, you know, in the beginning, it was just really unnerving and how I was going to be portrayed. just in keeping just your own personality in front of the camera. But I had to put all that aside when my son came knocking with his project, which is Mathis Family Matters. And I had to be a strong mommy, had to be a team player, I had to put all that aside and step out.
It's also like you guys have been married a little bit longer than my husband and I. We're 26 years, 32 years together. And our daughter just left for college. So we got, like, she's in her third, she's about to go in her third year. So we got used to just it being him and I, right? We've got him and I and the dog that you can hear. He's being a little crazy today. But it's just him and I. We got our little routine. And it is definitely a nice comfort. And now you guys got the kids back in the house. It's not even, I think, it's just, you know, you're back to food shopping more. It's them being in your space and you love your kids, but I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of nice to just be us a little bit and just going there. So how are you balancing that, having the kids in the house and still trying to make sure that you guys have time for each other?
By making it temporary.
I was going to say, no kids here. That was very temporary.
So, you know, when folks see it playing out, they'll see that I'm kind of manipulating the situation to get them on out, but not getting them back to DC. Keeping them here, but not in my house. And that takes a little game, and you know I got it with me.
Absolutely.
You did have some good things going on, though. They were cooking.
Yeah.
They're very good cooks, so that was a plus.
Absolutely. And Linda, what else do you want to say? And here's the other thing is, I love the fact that you guys have been married a long time, because that's another myth that people like to say, that Black people don't stay married, that Black people don't want to be married, all that other foolery. What else do you want people to know about your guys' relationship? Because it is a blessing to be together for so many years and to work through diversity, because marriage is a work in progress. Every day you have to put in the work. So what is it that you want people to take away from that part of it?
I want people to take away from observing our marriage and the length of time that our marriage is just like anyone else's. We just don't give up.
Yeah,
and that's so true. Yes. I'm sure you can agree with that.
Absolutely. And Judge, you know, we're learning a lot. People are starting to learn that how we vote, the rights and other things are not a luxury, that these are things that people fought hard for, and life, it can change within a flick of a second. What do you want to say to people out there who are like, I give up, or I don't think my voice matters? You know, I mean, it's been tough, but these last 3 years, I mean, we've been in a chokehold. What do you want to say to folks about that? Because, you know, your story is inspiring in that way.
Certainly. What I want to say is that we can't complain about it. We got to, unless we're voting about it. For example, in the presidential election, we won because Black women primarily led the vote in America for Biden and made the difference in that, certainly. And our Black men, in many instances, and certainly, unfortunately, with the support of Trump, many of our Black men, they've been letting us down. And so my message is that, brothers, you got to stand up with and for our sisters. We got them on the front line. Black Lives Matter marches were made up a majority of sisters and white youth. And while brothers sat back watching ESPN and whatever else. And then we had the Voting Rights Act that was fought for, led by Stacey Abrams and other Black females. Black Lives Matter founded by 3 Black females. So my message is that, brothers, we have to stay strong. Our sisters have been strong through our sojourn here in U.S. beyond our strength, in my opinion. They work 2 jobs. They go to school at night after those jobs while raising children all by themselves in poverty in many instances. And so they're able to handle it without giving up. They don't run to the corner to drink and their problems away or smoke their problems away. They fight back and they hang in there until they win. And so that's what I suggest is, and I hear so much about the division that this country is in. And what do you do about division? You win. And then you make up. But we fight to win. We got to fight back. We're complaining and not fighting, and fight with our vote.
Yeah, I mean, we do have to remember that as hard as things are, our ancestors have way bigger obstacles, and they made a way out of really, really like nothing. And then they saw the light. I think the other part is what you kind of talk about is we have to think beyond ourselves. We have to think for our kids, our grandchildren's children. So I think that's really great. But I want to thank you guys so much for chatting with me today. I love this show. And again, I love, Judge, that we get to see you at home a little bit more relaxed. It's not that we don't like you in your robes, but it's nice to see the missus kind of like putting her foot down. I was like, listen, the judge does have someone to answer to sometimes.
That's right.
So I really want to thank you guys for taking the time out to chat with me. And again, I think the show is going to be embraced by so many, and just to see this beautiful Black family on TV.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day.
You have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.